Welcome back, everybody. We're laughing because you guys are looking at Mr. Cole's butt right now. For some reason, he doesn't want to look over here like everybody else. But anyway, this is going to be installment 3 of our, I'm calling it Yellowstone vlog or something like that. We'll see what I title it down the road. But we actually went to Yellowstone. So the last time we left off, we were in the Grand Teton National Park, which is right near Yellowstone. So we decided to head in. So we did. We headed in there, and the first place we went was to the Geyser area. Now there's a few geyser basins within Yellowstone. We didn't know that at the time. We learned it as we traveled around. But you know, we went to the main one, which is has Old Faithful and a ton of other ones. And I should mention, guys, before getting too deep into this video, that we saw a ton of stuff over a lot of days, 3 or 4 days since the last vlog. So at the end, I'm gonna roll in footage. I'm gonna roll some in here as I'm talking, but I'm gonna roll more in at the end, simply because there's just a lot. I'll identify what it is that you're looking at as you're going through. But anyway, so yeah, first thing we went through was the geysers and the pools. We saw a couple erupt. Some are like kind of always erupting, almost boiling over. And what I didn't expect, you know, because I've watched shows on Yellowstone in the past, what I didn't expect was that there was just so many. We walked the outer perimeter of it, and there are tons of them. What were your thoughts, Dave?
It's just absolutely gorgeous. Just like all the colors too, and you know, not just like the geysers, but just the springs, and just seeing the water and just how clear it is, and then just all the different rings, and just, man, Mother Nature is awesome.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
It is, and like she said, there are. What's crazy is there's different types of hot springs, and they'll with different materials in them, or minerals, excuse me, different minerals in them. So some would be safe to go in if they allowed that, some wouldn't. So that was really interesting. And again, there's just tons of them everywhere. And we went there. They said that this is a relatively slow season, but there was still a ton of people at that location. So there was that. And then we went driving around looking for. We're gonna tell you a funny story. I wish she was recording it now, looking back. But anyway, so we went to Yellowstone Lake, went all around it, looked at the old hotel, which I think is the first hotel built on Yellowstone. And then we came back and we found a location off the side of the road. And the location, like all along Yellowstone, for those of you guys that have been there, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. There's these places and it says like no overnight parking or stuff like that. But there's also these pull-ins. Some of them are pulled in off the road, and there's other ones that are you pull in and there's wood line between you and the road, and then you're kind of off by yourself in the pullover area, so people can't see you from the road. So we pulled in one of those, assuming that we could just camp there in the RV because we didn't need to plug in or anything, which we've only done once, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so we didn't need to plug in, dump, or any of that stuff. So we camped there, and probably around 10 p.m.-ish, a car came in, which, fine, that had been happening all night. Most people were just kind of looking for a view. But it turned out that two guys came out in front of the vehicle, and they were both shining flashlights into the cab. And, you know, I called out to them, and they called out that they were the park rangers, not like the drill sergeant hat ranger type, but the guns and flashlights and handcuffs ranger type. So I got out, and they essentially informed me that we could park there, and that we had to be up for overnight parking, and that we had to be in an RV location. I'm assuming that's a revenue thing, but either way, they ran my information. One guy had his flashlight trained on me the whole time, you know, watch my hands, which I get. There's definitely a big risk for any law enforcement engagement with the population, but even more so probably in a place like that, because I'd imagine just about everybody there has guns. But anyway, the second officer, the one who was just kind of not processing my information and talking to me, he started asking about the channel, and hopefully he's a viewer now. So if he's watching this, I appreciate it, because he said he was going to look into it as soon as they left. But again, they said we couldn't park there, but then they said that night we could stay, but it's kind of like don't do it again kind of thing. Hey, buddy, Mr. Colt's sitting down now. So that was an interesting encounter there. They wouldn't let me go back in the RV to get my ID, so she had to get it. Just weird all around. But anyway, I mean, they were nice and professional. It wasn't really an issue, but it was running with the law. So
The law.
and then actually there's a car riding by right now. We'll be back in just a second. The car's gone, we're back, and the next day we started out heading to Grand Prismatic. We'll let you take that one, babe.
It was amazing. Broken record is amazing. Yeah, the Grand Prismatic is just so big. I mean, just massive and just like a rainbow. You could see all the colors like in the rainbow, and then just all the steam. I mean, I'm not really good at judging how big something is, but
It's about a football field all the way around in terms of circumference.
okay, yeah. So massive, and just that steam coming up, and then too, walking up to it, that one. I mean, it was just like a beach, just a boiling beach of just how absolutely, just like crystal clear that water was, but just all that steam, but just the colors are unbelievable. I mean, to see like the rainbow prism in those, what's it called again?
The outer rings,
Yeah,
Grand Prismatic.
prismatic prism. Ah!
So yeah. So what I thought was interesting is I've seen stuff on Yellowstone. I've looked stuff up. You look stuff up on the internet, and it looks one way. And in fairness, it does look the way it looks on the internet. However, what you don't realize is that coming up to it, there's like another hot spring right before you get to it, and that one's beautiful as well. It's just crystal clear water, and it has these runoffs that go off a cliff and
Mhm.
create kind of like a almost a waterfall, but I guess it is a waterfall, but it's a waterfall of like sulfur hot water, which is really weird.
Can
Uh,
really smell the sulfur
you
everywhere.
absolutely can smell the sulfur everywhere. It's kind of a byproduct of it, I suppose. So after that, we went up to the Mammoth
Hmm.
um,
Hot
Hot
springs.
Springs, and then after that, we exited there. The next day, or rather that day, we headed out to Bozeman, Montana to meet up with a mutual friend who happened to be in the city at the same time.
What? Literally, he just flew in and we were driving in. Like, what are the
And it was
odds?
not planned at all. She was just texting her friend who said, "Oh yeah, my brother will be there." And anyway, so that's how we linked up. We had some dinner, and then after that, we went down to Livingston, Montana, and just set up camp on the Yellowstone River in the RV. And after that, the next morning, we came up to Fort Smith, which is where we are now. So Fort Smith, Montana, in an attempt to see Bighorn Canyon. However, again, looking at the park online, it didn't say it, which I thought was really weird. The crossing that allows you to go from the northern part, which is the Montana access part of Bighorn Canyon, is closed right now. So I talked to the park ranger, and she said it's closed. The only way to get into the south part of it, where the big canyon is that we wanted to see, and do some boating and those sorts of things, is to go through Wyoming. So I mean, yeah, we could do that, but we're not gonna. so, we just set up camp here in Fort Smith. We saw the Yellowtail Dam, which is huge and amazing. If that dam was somewhere more accessible, kind of like the Hoover Dam, it would be a huge attraction. It's tall. I think they said it was the tallest dam in America. So
Massive.
it's very big, and I did not expect it. It's beautiful. It has a beautiful lake on top, and of course, even the runoff is gorgeous as well. And that creates really, really good fishing areas, which is where we're in right now. We're actually in a campground that's kind of set up for fishing. We didn't go out and do it, but that's what most people are here to do. It's beautiful either way. There's sort of like some irrigation that goes along in front of the camp, and it allows for folks to drop their boat in and go out and boat in the base of the dam. Anything I missed?
That's it.
Okay, so that is our vlog so far.
Stars. It was the new moon last night, so it was super dark. And these trees here are just they're these centuries and centuries old. They're so
Big.
magnificent. And the stars, oh my gosh, in big sky, like to really see the stars, it's just you just really can't put it into words on what they look like when you're in this type of darkness with this type of open sky. It's magnificent.
It is. I agree with that. And I think I said it in one of the earlier vlogs, but yeah, a lot of people have never seen that in America. They've never seen true darkness and then the skies. You got to get away from the city light pollution to see that. I mean, you can see stars obviously in the city, but it's totally different. It's not the
It's
same.
just not the
It's
same at all.
it's not. And I was kind of laughing while she was talking. Mrs. Guns Gear here hasn't been on camera, I don't think, before this trip in probably what 2 years on our channel.
Probably hot tag.
So a lot of you don't realize she's a hippie, but you already figured that out by now from listening to her in the last two vlogs. amazing.
I am a tree hugger.
So-
There's no doubt about that.
So we're a little bit different in that regard.
Slightly.
For those that don't know. Anyway, guys, we're gonna end the vlog there. Mr. Glock and Mr. Colt. Mr. Colt looks like he's going to try to jump off the table right now, which may happen at some point. But they're having a good time too. They love the RV, and that's really the primary reason we got the RV is so we bring our dogs along because they're part of the family too. We can't just be leaving them and them not experiencing it. They've been loving it for sure. So we're gonna close the vlog out. We're gonna head on. And again, after this, when I close it out, I'm going to roll in a lot of videos and photos and stuff. Really, really cool stuff, guys, that you just don't see anywhere else in the world. So that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. If you have any questions about the trip, you need advice on where to go, what we saw, those sorts of things, and need an answer, hit me up over at my Facebook page. Just shoot me a message. I answer all the messages over there. And I also post deals and stuff for folks to pick stuff up at discounted prices, but I answer all those. I don't always see them here in the comments on YouTube, so that is the best place to reach me if you actually need an answer. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. We'll see you all in the next video.
Bye.